We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish. Okay.
Jimmy Kimmel Live has been pulled off the air indefinitely. In the space of just a couple of days, a single late-night monologue spiraled into outrage, affiliate backlash, and an official network suspension. ABC confirmed the move, calling it an indefinite preemption. That phrase is corporate code for, the show is off the schedule with no date for a return. The background is straightforward. Jimmy Kimmel Live has been a late-night staple since 2003, one of ABC's longest-running franchises. But after Jimmy Kimmel delivered remarks about the killing of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, critics accused him of politicizing the tragedy. Some reports highlighted that Kimmel suggested the MAGA gang was attempting to weaponize the event politically. The backlash was swift, with multiple outlets reporting that critics saw the comments as offensive and out of touch. Within hours, affiliates began reacting. Nexstar Media Group, one of the largest owners of ABC-affiliated stations in the U.S., issued a strongly worded statement and announced that it would stop airing Jimmy Kimmel Live on all of its ABC stations for the foreseeable future. Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar's broadcasting division, said, "Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time, and we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move toward the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue." The Federal Communications Commission also entered the picture. FCC Chair Brendan Carr criticized Kimmel's comments and suggested the FCC could consider regulatory consequences for stations that aired the show. While the FCC doesn't normally intervene in late-night monologues, the suggestion alone was enough to escalate pressure. For Disney, which owns ABC, regulatory attention is never welcome, especially when the company has major business before federal agencies. That brings us to ABC's official move. The network pulled the show from its nightly schedule, effective immediately, and labeled the decision indefinite. This isn't the same as cancellation. Jimmy Kimmel's contract reportedly runs through 2026, but it is an open-ended suspension. No timeline for a return has been announced, and replacement programming is filling the late-night slot in the meantime. The fallout has been divided. On one side, conservative politicians and commentators applauded ABC's move, framing it as accountability for offensive remarks. On the other, press freedom advocates, Hollywood insiders, and some journalists warned that this sets a dangerous precedent. MSNBC host Chris Hayes tweeted, "This is the most straightforward attack on free speech from state actors I've ever seen in my life, and it's not even close." Comedian Alex Edelman added, "This is the actual cancel culture everyone claims to hate so much." Actor Ben Stiller kept it short but sharp with, "This isn't right." These voices captured the mood of many who saw the suspension not as accountability, but as censorship. Even political leaders weighed in. California Governor Gavin Newsom warned in a tweet, "Buying and controlling media platforms, firing commentators, canceling shows. These aren't coincidences, it's coordinated, and it's dangerous. The GOP does not believe in free speech. They are censoring you in real time." Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker echoed that sentiment, writing, "A free and democratic society cannot silence comedians because the president doesn't like what they say. This is an attack on free speech and cannot be allowed to stand. All elected officials need to speak up and push back on this undemocratic act." As for Jimmy Kimmel himself, So far, there hasn't been a detailed public statement addressing the suspension. Reports indicate that ABC's announcement was short, with no apology from the host included. That silence has only fueled speculation, some wondering whether negotiations are happening behind closed doors, others predicting Kimmel could exit sooner than his contract's end date. The bigger picture here is about more than one late-night show. Affiliates, advertisers, regulators, and audiences are now part of a wider conversation about what broadcasters can and should air. Will more networks start acting quickly when political controversies erupt? Will other affiliate owners decide to block programming if they fear backlash? And how will late-night comedy itself adapt, knowing that one segment can spark this level of fallout? Social media, of course, has amplified everything. Clips of Kimmel's remarks, reaction videos, and takes from both sides flooded platforms within minutes. Some labeled the suspension justice, while others called it censorship. Regardless of your view, this is the kind of event that shows how fast TV, politics, and social media now collide. At this point, the story is still developing. The three things to watch are whether Jimmy Kimmel issues a formal statement, whether ABC provides a fuller explanation of its reasoning, and whether other affiliates join Nexstar in refusing to air the program if it returns. Until then, the show is on ice, and the late-night landscape has lost one of its longest-running voices.